Alright guys, we're finally back in the eBay room. I've showered, taken some time off. I think it's like 7:30 right now. But we got a lot of stuff. Let me just give you a quick glance over here. We got board games, shirts, remote control, shoes, video games, Legos. We got a little bit of everything. So, it's time to go through the haul portion of the video. And we're going to start with the stuff that we got on Friday. Picked up these two LuLaRoe Randy shirts for $1 a piece. They're size small. Like I said, paid $1 a piece. I'll probably list them at $15 a pop and see what happens. The other LuLaRoe clothes that I've had have all sold fairly quickly, so I like those two finds. I picked up this Casio Exilum camera for $1.50. Unfortunately, I thought it had the charger with it, but it does not, so don't know what it'll go for. I'll try and list it as parts only and see what happens. It also came with a bunch of other cords. Like there's a Motorola charger in here, an old iPod USB cord, a printer cord, a bunch of like Ethernet phone cords, a power cord that goes to something. If I can figure out what that goes to, I can make money off of it. So I'm not worried about the $1.50. I think I'll get it back fairly easily. Picked up this Camacho SLR Maduro cigar box. I paid $2 for it, but I'm keeping this. It's going to be my new money box, and it just smells good. It just smells good. Like I said, I paid $2 for it. It's got some little chip damage. I don't know the value of it. I didn't look it up. But if you want to, it's a 25 cigar box for Hecho a Mano in Honduras. Camacho. There you go. But like I said, that's for me. Told you about this earlier. This is a vintage Countess parcel post scale. Here's like a little up close look at it. It goes up to 2 pounds. I paid 10 cents for it. I saw one, I think, on there for like 15 bucks. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it's going to look really cool sitting on my desk. I paid $4 for this little basket of stuff. This is an Xfinity remote control. There's 2 of these Comcast universal remote controls. This is also a Comcast. There's 2 of these. There's a Sony RMT814 control. I saw the controls and I also saw these cameras, and that's why I picked it up. I didn't really look too much into it. This is a Nikon Coolpix L20. This is a Kodak, but it's junk. The batteries are all corroded in it. There's the other one. That's the L20. There's a Sony CyberShot that I'll sell for parts only. Again, it's got its own battery, so I can't test it, and I don't have a charger for it. I could order a charger, but not really. This is a Nikon Coolpix L18. This is a Canon WS112H calculator, and there's also a Texas Instruments TI-30 calculator that apparently has a syntax error. Never mind, they cleared. So I paid $4 for the whole thing. This sells for $5 easily all day. Probably get $5 out of this. The remotes I didn't realize were Comcast. I saw the Sony, so I just kind of made the assumption. But you know when they say when you assume. But both of the Nikon Coolpix cameras work. They're in a little bit of rough shape, but I think I can get at least $15 a piece for them. So $40 and what did I say? 5, 10, 25. 40, I would say probably close to $50, $60 in this basket. At the same sale, I bought the cigar box. I bought these pair of Merrills with Vibram soles on them. They're in pretty good shape. They got like this mesh top. I can't read the label on them to figure out the exact model. That's where it's worn the most, is right there on the label. But I thought they looked pretty clean, and I'll do a little research and figure out what they are. But I know Merrills sell pretty well, but I don't know the value of these ones. I drove an extra 10 minutes out of my way for this sale that was really just kind of out there. So I would have felt bad if I left with nothing. So I paid 50 cents for this Sony Dream Machine ICFC112 alarm clock. Let's find out if it works together. I'd say it works, but that's copyright all over it. So it works, yeah. I think like 10 or 15, I think. I don't remember. Like I said, I just did not want to leave that yard sale empty-handed. from my pocket, you heard me negotiate for this. This is Clue, the Great Museum Caper 3D board game. It's a little different for a Clue game because, well, the board is 3D. It stands up. I believe it's all here from looking at pictures of the box. There's like these little artwork paintings and stuff like that, and a bunch of movers and stuff like that. I'll count the pieces later for sure. But if this is all here, it's $30, and I paid 50 cents for it. Last but not least, I paid up for these. I paid $7.50 a piece. They wanted 10, but I just asked 15 if that would be okay. The good thing about these guitars, these are Red Octane Explorer controllers, model 95065. This one is 95055. These are the ones that you really want. I've talked about this in videos before. They have the USB like dongle attachment that you can buy for them. And what people do, there's this online game called Clone Hero, where people go in and make their own Guitar Hero tracks, basically. And you have to have a USB one to be able to play on PC. They're in really good shape. All the buttons press really well. I've still got to test them. But the ceiling on these is like $25, or the floor on these is like $25, and the ceiling is close to 60. And I found that the sticker wear doesn't really matter as long as the guitar works, because if they don't like the body of it, they'll put their own body on it if they're really worried about how it looks. So I got 2 of them for $7.50, and at floor $50, at ceiling probably $100. And that, my friends, was everything that I bought on Friday. Let's look at Saturday sales. Alright, on Saturday we're going to kick off with what I assume is a good purchase. I got these Adidas shoes. They are size 11 men's. The model number is ART, A-R-T, B24704. They are Stan Smith graffiti shoes. The bottoms are a little dirty, but otherwise the shoe is in really good shape. I did pay $10 for the pair, because I looked at comps and everything Stan Smith Adidas related was going for anywhere between $60 and $200. I'm going to list these at $99.94 and shoot for the best. One pair sold recently for $50, but it was in the UK, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. And there's 2 currently listed on eBay right now. One brand new for like $150, and another one sitting at like $80. Those are size like 9.5s, I think. But with size 11, I think I'm gonna go $99.94, sit on them for a bit, and just see what happens. At the same sale, I bought 6 copies of Star Trek the magazine. I paid $5 for the stack. It seemed like they were selling pretty consistently for around $5 to $8 a piece. I assume this one's probably better than others with Leonard Nimoy on it. So the weird thing is after I bought them, I didn't pick them up whenever I bought them because it just had a make offer sticker on it. When I picked it up, the back cover on this last one with Garrett Wang on the front of it, the back of it was like damp from sitting on the table, but luckily it's like more of a plasticky material, so it didn't actually do any damage to it. And I checked inside and all the pages are good like that. These magazines are really interesting, and I'm excited to give them kind of a little glance over before I list them. But yeah, I'm going to list them all individually. I have issues number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. But yeah, so cool find there. Like I said, paid $5, and I think I'm going to list them all at $7.94 a piece. Also at the same sale, you saw in the footage there was a little tub of Legos and then another bag of Legos. I asked her what she wanted for all of it, and she said 20, and I asked 15, and you probably heard the audio. I put the camera in my pocket while I was negotiating, and she said that if I didn't take the container that all the other pieces were in, and if she just dumped them in this bag, she would take the 15, and I said, of course. Kind of wishing I paid the 20 now, because I think in that tub were a lot of car parts and stuff like that. Right now, the going rate for about 10, this is about 10 pounds, and the going rate for about 10 pounds of Legos is about $30, but I looked up these wheels. I have 5 of them. I think I have more in here, because I have another rubber for it, but I gotta find the wheel part. 4 of these sold for $19.94 just 2 days ago, or $19.99. $19.94 is my price, and I have 5 of them. This little motor piece, somebody was asking $10 for just this piece, so I'm gonna take my time with these Legos and really dig through them. I'm really happy with the $15 purchase, and I think I'm gonna pull out as much as I can and then just sell the rest of it as weight or fill a medium flat rate box and tell them to go nuts. So really happy with this, but I'm definitely going to take my time with this one, especially with all these car parts and stuff like that. These little like tubes are selling for like not each, but like group of them selling for like $15. I got quite a few in here. But yeah, I think everything that was in that little tote were car part related, and everything else was just miscellaneous. But I haven't even looked into the bag yet. I'm recording this kind of blind, so if I dig through it and I find something else, I'll definitely update you in the future. The next sale, I've bought another pair of hiking shoes. These are Salomon XR Mission 1s. They are women's size 9.5. They're in pretty good shape. The inside of the shoe's a little worn, but outside, other than being a little dirty, are in pretty good shape. The grips are good on them and stuff like that. There weren't very many of these on there, especially in women's, and I know the way she was acting, size 9.5 was very uncommon. So, I don't know, I'll probably put $20, $25 on them just to kind of see what happens, see if I get any offers, and then go from there, but I think for $2 I did pretty good. You guys saw this in the car, but just to recap, I got this nylon army jacket. I paid $2 for it. It's in really good shape. The only thing that's really an issue on it is in one of the pockets, the previous owner had scribbled their name in it on like a little white tag. But I saw one sold for $15 and they paid shipping on it, so that's probably what I'm going to do. Normally I would do free shipping on clothes, but this definitely has a little bit of weight to it and it's a little bulky. But yeah, if I don't make any money off it, I'm not too upset. The $2 I went to an animal shelter, so that's always a good thing in my book. When I was following the yard sale treasure map, I accidentally doubled back to the sale I went to yesterday where I bought that tub of remote controls and cameras. And then I saw these Xbox 360 games that she had out. I paid $1 a piece for them. They're not like the greatest games, but eBay did give me 100 free listings, so I figured why not? That'll give me more listings, give me more stuff in the store, and I know Fallout New Vegas is a popular one. I think it's around like $10. The Halos I don't know. I'll list them separately. If they don't sell, I'll put them together and see what happens. I went to an estate sale and I found 2 blank VHS tapes, and I paid $1 for them. And then later on, at another sale, which I got more stuff from, and I'll get to in a minute, I got 2 more for free. So basically, I got 4 VHS tapes for $1. I don't know what the going rate on these is. I don't know if I'm going to list just the 4 of them, or if I'm going to wait until I find more, because I know generally the bigger the lots, the more. But one of these does have the Flintstones taped on it, so I don't know what that is. And one I think says Prince of Egypt, yeah. So I don't know if I'll try and just sell 4 of them and put like $10 or $8 or something on it and see what happens. But if they don't and I get more, I'll just cancel that listing and add more to it. At another sale I went to, I found this box, and I was really interested in what was inside of it. I had found this remote earlier, and I planned on buying this no matter what. It's a Bose remote, obviously untested, and I didn't even look up comps on it, but it had a question mark on the price tag, so I knew it couldn't be very expensive. But then I got to see in this box, and inside of it are a bunch of 1991 Marvel trading cards. And I know Marvel is obviously a very hot commodity right now. I hope these are like lined up with the camera. I'm trying my best. But so I know if you have a full set that they're worth about $30. And whenever I was digging through them the first time, the lady looked at me and she goes, "I'll cut you a really good deal on them." And I was like, okay. But I kind of looked around and she kind of walked away, and I kept looking around at her sale. And I came back to it and started looking through it. And I just took this remote and I threw it in the box. I said, "What do you want for the box?" And she goes, I did look them up because I wanted to make sure I wasn't giving anything away, and I was asking 10 cents a piece, and it says that on the box, 10 cents each. And she goes, "Is $20 too much?" And I just didn't say anything. I just kind of stared at it. And she's like, "Is $10 too much?" And I said, "Well, I was thinking about $5. And that included the remote." And she's like, "Okay." I'm like, "Sweet, so $5 for the box and the remote." And then she pulls the remote out and asks her husband, who had already gave me a hard time because I was wearing a Yankee hat. And he made me pay 50 cents for the remote. But whatever, I'm not too upset about it. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to tackle these cards. There's like 4 options I have. I could just list the box as is, take a bunch of pictures so that they can see the different types of cards that are in here. And maybe auction style it or put it at like $29.94 and see what happens. The next option is list them all individually for like $1 a piece, and just see if anybody has any takers on and stuff like that. There are some like Thanos cards in here and Infinity Gauntlet cards in here, so if I did list them all together, I could put Endgame and Infinity War in the title and probably get away with it, since that would technically. The third option is to take them out and like group them by character. So like take all the Spider-Man cards I can have and put them in one lot, all the Iron Man cards and put them in a lot, X-Men or stuff like that, villains. And then option 4 is if I decide not to do anything with them, I think a cool idea would be to like take all these and put them on a giant piece of cardboard and frame them. I think it would make a really good looking poster, especially for me and my fiance. We both love comic books, and we both love trading cards too. We do Pokemon cards and Star Wars cards, and I do baseball cards and stuff like that. So I think it would look really cool in our apartment. But I think I'm gonna try and sell them first and see what I can do that way. But I just thought it was a really cool find, and for $5, $5 I feel like I can't go wrong on it. It's all wrapped up. At another sale, I got this PlayStation Namco gun controller from 1996. It's NPC 103. It goes to the game Time Crisis. I think it works, I'm not sure, but I think it works in the same way that the light gun works for the NES. I paid $2 for it. He said that last time he used it, it worked, which is what most of the people say. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep this because I collect video game stuff too, especially PlayStation stuff. I don't know if I'm going to keep this. I don't have the game, but I haven't seen very many of these listed on eBay, so I might throw it on there for like 10 or 15 bucks just to see what happens. Then at this last sale, this is the one where I think I scored. I really wish I was filming, but her daughter was running around quite a bit, and I didn't want to risk anything like that. So, first off, I bought this stack of Game Boy Advance games with a Game Boy Advance SP, a red model, this Pelican Game Boy Advance SP case, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games that are complete in the box. Unfortunately, I came home and tried out the SP and it won't take a charge. The little light turns orange and then it just does nothing. So, like I said, I paid $35 for this stack. She wanted $35 for just the Game Boy Advance stuff, and then she wanted $5 a piece for all her DS games. But I grabbed this copy of Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story for the DS and like put it on top of the Game Boy Advance stack, and I was like, will you do $35 for all of this? And she said sure. So technically paid nothing for this. I think I'm going to look at it that I paid $5 for this and paid $30 for all this. This is a $22 game, sells really consistently, really well. It's one of the more popular Mario titles because of the way it's played. It's an RPG, it's not like your standard Mario game and stuff like that. So that's about 20 bucks. I'm going to take this Scooby-Doo game out and list it on its own and ask $10 for it. I'm going to take this Teen Titan game out on its own and list it for $10 and see if we get any takers. Then there's this copy of Donkey Kong Country, and this box is in really, really good shape. It's also complete. This is about a $20 to $25 game. So it's going on its own. The rest of these games are worth hardly anything. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to list all those games. The the Game Boy doesn't work, unfortunately, but for parts I can still get $20 out of it. The Pelican case, one sold for $5 auction style, and one sold buy it now for 20 bucks. So I'm going to list it for 20 bucks. I mean, I think I'm going to take the rest of these games. Oh, I've got the manual for the Advance right here. And I think I'm going to take the rest of these games down to one of the local used game stores and just see what they'll give them for me since they're complete in the box. I know they generally pay a little bit more for games that are complete in the box, and take whatever they give me for me and make my thing a little easier. But if everything sells for what I think it will, that's 20 for the case, 20 for the Game Boy 40, 20 for the DS game 60, and then 20 for the Donkey Kong game 80, and then 20 for the other two games is 100, right? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Yeah, so 100 bucks from $35 that I paid. But that's not the big score. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. when I got to the sale, the first thing I saw were the Pop Funko figures, and I always give them a glance because you never know. And I saw Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, John Lennon, George Harrison, and the Blue Meanie, though his box is not in great shape at all. All just kind of sitting there. And I quickly did a comp search for Beatles Pop Funko and saw that they were selling consistently for about $50 a piece. John Lennon was touching $100. So I was like, I'm just going to humor her. I'm just going to ask her. I go, hey, what do you got to have for your Beatles Pop Funkos? And note that these boxes, like here's Ringo. Ringo's got a torn corner. Paul's got a little bit of damage on the top corner. John's got a little bit of wear, but not as much as the other two. And honestly, I don't think these guys have been out of the packaging at all. And then George is in pretty good shape to do pretty similar to John. The Blue Meanie's just, he's wrecked. But he's still in there, so. So I asked her how much she wanted for it, and she said $20. And I said, yes, I will take them. And then I bought the other DS games. So I spent $55 at the sale, $55.25 because I bought a popsicle off her daughter. I'm going to put all the Beatles Pop Funkos together in one lot. One just sold a couple days ago, all 5 of them, in better box condition than mine, mind you. And it sold for, I think it was $517. So I'm going to put all mine together, put it at $399.94, and just see what happens. If they don't sell it that high, I'll drop the price. I might go to a toy store that's nearby and buy the protective sleeves for them and put them in there. But since they already have box damage, I'm not sure if that would really do anything other than emphasize that they've got some damage to them. It would obviously make the Blue Meanie look better because I could put it in there and then the box would kind of hold its shape a little better and it not look as bad. But yeah, so that's the big score of the day, $20. Hopefully it turns into $400. If I get an offer for $300, I might take it. I don't know. But yeah, so that's my weekend haul. I spent overall $127 and change. I think if I mathed out like what I project that I could get for them, I think it touches around high 900s, realistically. If I could get anywhere between $700 for this stuff, I would be ecstatic. If I can get anywhere more than $127, I'll be ecstatic. But I think I did really, really good this weekend. It's been a long weekend. This is my first Saturday where I haven't had to work, so being able to go out and get this much stuff feels great. Like I said, eBay gave me 100 free listings, so I've got a lot of work that I need to do before I go back to work on Monday. So that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, make sure you click the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel for more. Probably no video next week because I'll be out of town going to a wedding with my fiance. And yeah, so I'll see you guys when I see you. And, well, you know what? I'll just see you all in the next one.